friends, welcome to Bjorn Tarot. So today we're going to be asking, what are the shadows in your life that need to be uncovered? And so with that, I will give you a few moments to look at each of the groups to see which one you feel most called to, and then we'll get started from there. So group 1 is going to be the Star, group 2 is going to be Temperance, and group 3 is going to be the Hermit. We're going to start out with some oracle cards to get a general idea of the energy of your reading, and then from there we'll do some tarot. So I'll give you a few moments to look at each of the groups to decide which one you feel called to. So with that, we'll get started. Okay, so if you chose group 1 with the Star, let's get into your oracle cards. So first, here's the Star card. And we'll put that there. The next we have the Shaman, which I thought it was interesting how both of these cards have such similar imagery. Okay, and then we have Meditate, the Whisper, Healing Chaos, Emptiness, and these acronym cards, Hero, so happy endings really occur. Interesting. And I follow my inner guidance. So let's just arrange these. Okay. Okay, so the energy that I'm picking up on this read is someone who has gone through something very tumultuous and stressful, to say the least, and that situation that you either are dealing with or have dealt with in the past has kind of left you with some mental blockages where you're not really able to see the potential or any hope for something positive and good to happen. With Healing Chaos and the Shaman, but with Healing Chaos, this card is kind of about something like stressful, chaotic happening, but then finding wisdom and learning and transformation along the way, which you can kind of see like the butterflies in the imagery, which kind of are like a sign of transformation. And then with the Shaman, this is kind of about, in this context, I'm taking it as someone who is in need of using all of their different aspects to their character and personality and so on in order to bring everything together to have hope again and contentment and peace. Because with emptiness here, I really feel that it has to do with, like, if you're not filling your mind with something else, and you're still stuck in this chaotic energy, then whatever is like the emptiness has to be filled with something. So it's either going to be filled with chaos, or excuse me, it can also be filled with inspiration, hope, ideas, passion. And with the whisper, meditate. And the hands, I can't help but notice the hands in this reading, and it's almost like with the shaman and being right next to the star, which represents like hope, rejuvenation, that type of stuff. And then with I follow my inner guidance, I feel like this person is looking up here, but it's so far away. But there is like a hand reaching down to say, there is hope. There is a helping hand available for you. And that can pan out in all kinds of different ways in life. And with the whisper, I feel like there's something that you're not seeing or hearing, or just like some kind of intuitive blockage, where you're not really able to see different perspectives right now in order to have hope. And yeah, and with happy endings really occur, hero, I think it's just like it really ties into this whole theme of like um having hope again, having your faith restored if something happened in life, or different things happen in life that kind of like made you lose hope, or for maybe like the future that you once wanted or something like that. So I see with the meditation card and the whisper, it's really like, okay, we need to quiet our minds down and use different techniques. And luckily we have the internet, where it's like there's so many different free and helpful resources out there. And I feel like if you don't get grounded and meditate, and whatever that means for you, it doesn't have to be like some super strict practice or anything, but it's just about like taking a few minutes to maybe do different grounding techniques that work for you and that are healthy for you. For some people, it's breathing. For others, it's exercise. For some people, it could be just like watching something that's entertaining and calming. So that way, like, the emptiness doesn't get filled with this chaotic, like, painful and dark energy. And I really get the feeling that like there's some avoidance here going on with this group, because like there's some kind of blockage like with their intuition or your intuition, if this resonates. If it doesn't, this may not be your pile. But if this feels like kind of like some what you might be going through, this keep watching if you want to. But yeah, so I feel like this blockage where you're just like your mind, the emptiness is being filled with like this energy, when really you need to bring all different parts of your life together so that you're able to pierce through these blockages and like see the star, like see that there is hope, and that sometimes it's okay to have hope even if you don't necessarily have a concrete reason to feel that way. Um, but that's kind of the general idea of what I'm seeing. So if this feels like it's relatable, definitely keep watching. Um, and we'll get started with the tarot. What's going on with group one with their shadows? So the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Moon, and Five of Wands. Okay, so I feel like some of these like blockages may be stemming from some kind of self-conflict about being fearful of something new and like uncharted territory in your life, where there's a lack of hope because you feel like there's nowhere to start, because the pages are um, young energy, apprentice energy, like just starting out, just learning a new skill. Um, so I feel like maybe you don't feel the best about your ability to have a stable foundation. Like maybe you feel like the conditions aren't there with your situation, where it's hard to see how um, there could be like a stable foundation to even be able to have these new um, like starts of plans in the concrete world or the home. And with the Page of Swords, it's like you don't feel ready to step into this position where you might have to um, communicate, speak your mind, or be like a little bit stern, like when need be. Okay, and it's just like I feel like it's a lot of mental um it's a lot of mental back and forth and indecision, and kind of like battling your own self-critic in a way. And then we got a third page, the Page of Wands, which is someone who is starting out on a new adventure and who is passionate and creative. And so I feel like with the 3 pages here, a lot of the blockages are stemming from just like a fear of conflict, a fear of the unknown, a fear of starting in a realm that you're unfamiliar with. I don't see the Page of Cups here. Maybe you feel really confident in um, like emotional areas, um, creativity, and expressive creativity. Um, so maybe like there's some situation where it's needed for you to integrate the pentacles, the swords, the wands, um, like with the shaman, integrating all the different parts of self in order to have that helping hand that you need to like feel hope again and healing and rejuvenation and balance and all those things. So if that still resonates, get some more cards. So what can they do to overcome any like blockages or fears surrounding trying to integrate these other areas of their life or personality, however it resonates? How can they get through these blockages? Take these. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune, the Emperor, the Three of Wands, and the Hanged Man. Okay, so I feel like a part of you pushing through this blockage in order to like feel hope again, like feel a fresh perspective in your life, is to realize that like life does have cycles and they just will not stay in the same cycle forever. Like if you don't make changes, the changes seem to just happen on their own because that's the nature of our world we live in. And with the Emperor, that's kind of all about stability, healthy authority, and kind of sounds weird, but like just having a strong, protective, and mature masculine energy. So like taking action, protection, and watching over themselves and everyone around them and making sure that they are well off. And so, and then with the Three of Wands, that's all about like watching your plans move forward, expansion. It's like you've already started to kind of come out of this cycle, I think, but you're just like, how do I embody this Emperor energy? And I think it's just like taking it one thing at a time. Like if you're struggling in your pentacles area of your life, which is like finances, home, material world type of stuff, then make a list and start small there to see where you're having these blockages that's keeping you stuck in your healing process, maybe. And same thing with the swords. That could be about working on communication. And there's so many great resources out there. You have to like decipher what's kind of good and bad information out there. But there's a lot that I've learned just from finding great resources online to learn like different communication skills and different ways of dealing with situations and stuff that maybe you never learned or weren't taught. And so it's a great resource. And same thing with the Page of Wands, making a list for creative ideas and then just like putting aside maybe, start small, like say 5 minutes a day that you'll work on whatever project or plan for change or adventure, or just planning to go outside of your normal routine. It could be as simple as that. And the Hanged Man also, I think, is kind of going, the Hanged Man is like about kind of being put in a position like where you are forced to stop and think about things and reflect and process, and that processing of whatever's going on is going to bring enlightenment. But it's kind of like with the Hanged Man, it's like you're kind of just like in a corner where you're forced to, not forced, that's, I don't like that word, but like you're prompted to, like you're just being like pushed forward to like overcome this because it's building up. I have the feeling of like it's building up to a point where it's like you have lost hope. But let me get some more advice. So how can they step into a new cycle? How can they help that a little smoother? And how can they embody Emperor energy, expansiveness, and self-reflection that leads to enlightenment or realizations? Okay, the Hierophant, the Queen of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. You see that? Okay. So with the Hierophant, it can be about learning tradition. A big theme in this spread is like trying to have the will to have a like, yeah, just like the willingness to learn something new or like try something new that's unfamiliar, which can be very anxiety provoking for a lot of people. But that's why I said it's all about just little steps, starting small. Because if you look at all these areas that you feel like these needs aren't being met in these different areas of your life, and you feel like possibly just like not up for like starting as an apprentice, um, then maybe go the traditional route. Look at, different methods of learning that are well established so you feel confident in the methods that you're using in order to overcome this like stuck energy. And then the Queen of Wands is very creative, attractive, and passionate. And the Eight of Wands is like rapid, quick moving energy, passion that's just like quickly landing. So I feel like as soon as you figure out a good method for yourself to kind of like start making a plan of how to like integrate all these parts that are out of balance, yeah, it's just like looking to the traditional methods that you do know have worked in the past maybe, and then I think that's just going to fuel your passion and reignite hope when like the ball is rolling and like things are starting to like move and you're seeing progress. Okay. Any more messages for group 1 or messages of encouragement? for group 1. Messages, encouragement to gain hope. Have hope in themselves that they are up for this task. Okay, so the 9 of Swords, Knight of Wands, and Justice. I think it was like that. So I feel like anytime that you are like so overwhelmed and anxious, like when you're thinking about all this, because like I know how it is, like it's easy sometimes seeing it in a video or like writing it on paper, but it's like you're still anxious about it until there's a solution. And so I feel like anytime you feel overwhelmed and anxious, like try to rebalance yourself and know that if you stick with it and if you just take things in a balanced approach where again you're not just trying to like fix everything at once, then I think that things will like balance themselves out. And um and then with the Knight of Wands, I feel like it's just saying like don't be afraid to rush in and take risks. Be passionate in your approach with the things that ignite passion in you, because I think that's going to help you get through like areas that are maybe not the easiest for you. So I hope that helped. I hope I wish you the best of luck and all the healing, and never lose hope, and always remember to be brave. And please remember, if you'd like to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell button, and yeah, I'll see you guys for the next reading. And also, if you want to comment any like future pick a card topics that you'd like to see, or share any insights about your reading, I'd love to hear like if it really matched your situation. So I'll see you guys next time, and good luck. Welcome group 2. So today we're going to be discussing any potential shadows that need to be uncovered and examined, and kind of look at different perspectives to help you move through a stuck place where you can find more balance. And that seems to kind of be the theme for all of the groups for this reading. So if you felt called to choose any of the other groups, feel free to check those out as well, because I do see a theme going on. But for you guys, you chose Temperance as your main card. And the next we have the Mystic. The next we have I Keep My Own Counsel. Guides. Liberation. Wisdom. Wholeness. And these acronym cards, Charm, Choose Happiness, and Reawaken Magic. Okay, so first with the temperance, that's kind of all about finding any kind of imbalances internally and bridging the gap between the two and integrating um, two parts to make a whole, which makes sense with this wholeness card. Because I just see like night and day, and in the center is this circle and this like star that kind of it's integrating the light and the dark. And when you're able to do that, you're able to find a higher path with temperance and find a good middle ground which can lead you to the place that you need to be at right now. With the mystic, this is kind of like the seer, the dreamer, and just staying committed to your journey and transformation, whatever that may be for you. This is a general reading. So, take whatever resonates. But it's kind of about taking your hardship and struggle and viewing that and not being afraid of facing any darkness or avoidance that may be like kind of a comfort zone for you, and seeing that when you do face, I mean, when you do face these hard lessons in life or shadows or inner darkness or things that you aren't the happiest with yourself about, it's hard to look at those things because it brings on, a lot of different emotions that, of course, are not easy to face or process. And so I don't see this reading as like so far. I don't think you need to just rush in and like try to face all your shadows and darknesses and avoidances all at once, but really just honoring yourself and figuring out what your own limits like with facing stuff is, so that way it's not an all or nothing approach and you can start small and work up from there. Because otherwise, if you're looking at all of these shadows and built up problems, or it just depends on your situation and your personal life experiences. um but yeah, I think it's about starting with the smallest shadows, which you may or may not know what those are yet. But if there are things that you're struggling with, and things feel extreme, then maybe it's best to examine what the opposite of that extreme is to try to find what's in the middle of that. Um, with I keep my own counsel. Um, it's really about, like, again, balance and fairness, truth, um, and about taking action in your own life and your own healing. And um, like, I think it says something in the book for this card deck about like not taking action can be just as harmful as like taking a risky action, which in this context would be about like introspection of the shadow parts of the self, and trying to change that perspective of it being this like negative, scary thing, and realizing that um, there, yeah, there's like something gained there's like awareness gained when we're able to face and transmute these things in a healthy way. Definitely not saying like all or nothing where you should just like dive into all these shadows that could be triggering potentially or just like disruptive. Like it's all about the middle ground, like including your approach with how you start to address, face, and identify your shadows. It's about um, also just feeling protected, like with the guides. Like for some of you, this could mean that you have guides in your life that you can look to, and people um, that you view as having like a good balance or a bravery in their approach, and you can look to them. You can look to your ancestors if you have ancestors that you feel connected to, and you can feel guided by their wisdom. And it can also mean if you don't like, if that's not your perspective, like if you don't feel connected to any kind of like spirit guides or anything, then it could just be about inner guidance and finding others to help guide you through working through shadows and things that are like deep in our subconscious buried that when not addressed can create problems in different areas of our lives or blockages. So I feel like this means you do have guidance, you do have protection, you are cared about, and you're not alone in the dark, like when you're trying to find this balance and when you're trying to seek this awareness. With liberation here, I see this as like what will liberate you in this context of like addressing and examining shadows and self limiting um, beliefs or perceptions is that what will liberate you is releasing any expectations that you have of yourself or others, or even like how you imagine healing to be, like letting go of whatever is keeping you from like freeing yourself of these super strict um like idealized expectations. And I think that if you can be open to like different ways of approaching healing and shadows where it's different from what you imagined it to be, that you might be surprised at um, different approaches can give you different results or insights. So maybe like um, tarot reading, for example, that can help you come to your own insights, or just prompt reflection, or talking to friends, or journaling, or getting involved in some kind of like community activity, um, like, or talking to people that have been through similar things as you, or maybe it's just like doing something outside of your comfort zone that gives you this bravery where you feel able to like go down to these deep emotional depths. Like in this card, the mermaid is like traveling down into the depths of the ocean and and finding and gaining wisdom from diving below the surface. There's a lot of beauty underneath once you get to that place. And I feel like the wholeness card again like fits the whole theme of needing this internal balance so that you can get back on the right path to like where you're supposed to be and where you want to be. And um yeah, just like taking your dark, taking your light, and your whole, um and embracing all the parts of yourself, like the things you dislike about yourself. Nurture those things so that you're able to even approach those shadow, those deep shadows. So that way you feel like, okay, I accept this shadow part of myself. I have compassion for it, and I have wisdom that I and confidence and guidance, and I believe in my ability um, to transmute the darkness and struggle and make this into a positive situation in my life. And then with charm, choose happiness and reawaken magic. I'm seeing this as like just at face value, like try, even if you feel bogged down by the shadows, by the past, or whatever. This is a general reading, but like whatever has brought on your shadows, because everybody has their own shadows for different reasons. And I think it's just like try to choose a positive approach to like reawaken the ability to even face the shadows. Um, so if this resonates so far, I'll move on to the tarot cards. If it doesn't, you can try another group, another reading or reader, and I'll get started with the tarot to get some more information. Okay, so for group 2, what is going on with their shadows? What needs to come to the surface? What what do we need to know? Too many cards. Um, for group 2, what do we need to know to help them become aware of and address their shadows in a way that is safe and comfortable for them, please? Group 2 shadows. Group 2. My gosh, we got temperance again. Okay. Okay, so 10 of Swords, King of Pentacles. I'm hoping that this is not going out of focus as I'm recording, but and temperance again. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like a way to start to address the shadows is having the knowledge that, like, I'm gonna put it like this. Like, yes, you have been through a lot. And also, I think group one got this card too, I'm pretty sure. But yes, you've been through a lot. You're exhausted. You feel just like done when, like, as far as shadows goes. But you also are the King of Pentacles. So you have a very strong foundation. You are very abundant. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to take care of others. Um, you're not selfish. And you you have this in you, like, even if you feel like, no, I don't have this anymore. Maybe some of you are thinking that, like, because of this hardship that you've gone through in your life, but you actually can have both. Like, temperance is taking one thing and mixing it with another thing. And these two together will bring you to the right path to where you need to go to have that, like, realization, enlightenment. So I feel like if you can find a way to have more compassion for whatever's going on here with the Ten of Swords, where you can, like, I'm not saying necessarily forgive or fully accept, but just try to um, try to use it as a tool to bring this part out of you, because, like, whatever's happened here, you have been through it, you've gone through it, and maybe you're stuck now, but yeah, I'm just seeing, like, finding the right balance to embody this King of Pentacles energy, where you feel like you're not going without, you have everything you need, you're safe, you are grounded. And seeing, like, Sagittarius, Taurus energy here. Let's get some more. Sorry, I'm kind of like making a mess with these cards today. Okay, what else for group two? How do they bring these two pieces of themselves together? How do they bring these two pieces together and transmute their experiences and 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 realize their wisdom? Okay, so we got Judgment, Wheel of Fortune, and the King of Cups. Just look at this. So I feel like one way that you can help bring these two together is by realizing that this, like, everybody has different cycles in their lives, and we all go through them. Okay, and the Wheel of Fortune is also about completion and luck, and Judgment is about, it's like an alarm call, it's an awakening, it's rejuvenation, And the King of Cups is a masculine energy that has emotional maturity, wisdom, and takes care of themselves and others. Very empathetic king. So, yeah, I just think that there's some kind of cycle that is ending or has just ended. And there are like shadows to be addressed. And sometimes healing takes time. Sometimes we think the cycle is over because this is over, but it's not yet because we still have to face any lingering energies that remain from these types of experiences in life. And with temperance here twice and guides, yeah, it's just like you're protected, you're being watched over, whatever that means to you. You're supported, you're not alone. And you do have this wisdom that you have gained that has helped you be this like King of Cups energy. And I think using that wisdom and emotional experiences, or emotional like roller coaster experiences, I just feel um like you're gonna, once you're able to like completely let this cycle close, which sometimes it's just like, lingering where it needs to just like cut off. Hopefully that's making sense. What else for pile 2? How can they face shadows? Okay. Okay, 3 of Cups. How can they face shadows? What's the best method to face the shadows? Okay, so 3 of Cups, the 8 of Swords, and the Emperor. Yeah, I think it's like you're not alone. Like, reach out to others that have maybe been through similar experiences, like, and celebrate whatever you got through with this. Celebrate it and know that you're not alone, that you're not the only one that has gone through something similar as this, and you don't have to suffer in silence. Coming together and sharing things can be so healing. And finding a community where you can celebrate in your victory of overcoming this and coming out of this. And you don't have to be, with the 8 of Swords, like, you feel stuck in this. Like, you feel stuck in this 10 of Swords energy, like backstabbed, broken, and you feel like, okay, this is just how things are now. Like, this is me, like, I'm stuck here. But as you can see in this card, this figure does actually have a way out through all these swords, but unfortunately they're bound and blindfolded to where they aren't able to see that. And then there's like water on the ground. It's like, it's just like lingering emotions and feelings from this big, heavy, hurtful experience. And then with the Emperor, it's like, actually, you're not stuck. You're completely in charge, and not only are you safe, but you're able to help others. You're able to stand your ground, and you're able to do this with integrity if you can take the blindfold off and see yourself for what you truly are, which is this Emperor energy, authority, not in an unhealthy way, but authority as in action, um, taking care of and protecting yourself and those around you, and um, having a very stable foundation. So don't forget that about yourself, that you do have this Emperor energy about you. Even if you feel like the Eight of Swords right now and this is lingering, you have a support team. You have the wisdom, knowledge, and ability to like have this receiving and giving energy. And it's like choose happiness and reawaken magic. Choose these healthy relationships. Choose to embody this type of energy, even if you still feel stuck. Like, you do have a foundation to work with in the wisdom that you've gained from this. And yeah, that might be the silver lining, you know? I don't think anyone deserves to like go through whatever hardships you have gone through, or are going through. And I just really think that you're going to be able to get out of this by the help of others, experiencing joy, friendships, focusing on people with similar experiences. And the Four of Pentacles, it's like holding on to resources. It's like you're holding on to this past, and I don't blame you, because that's a natural thing for us to do when we've been through such hardships. But you have to remember that stable foundation that you do have underneath this. And if you can just release whatever's keeping you from this, then I really think you're going to be able to integrate your shadows with your with your light. Let's get any advice for group number 2. I'm also feeling a lot of like scattered energy. Like the message is clear, but it's also just this feeling of like things being all over the place for some reason. Like, okay. Group 2. Any advice for group 2? Clear guided advice for group 2, please. And encouragement. Okay, the Fool. I think this one. Okay. Queen of Wands. 5 of Wands. And the Tower. Yeah, so I think the encouragement or advice here with the Fool and the Queen of Wands, it's like, don't be afraid to start new, fresh, and with a clean slate. Like, you don't have to just like have this be a part of your identity if you don't want it to be. The shadows. Meaning that in an unhealthy way where you're like, your shadows are buried, but like maybe because you're not addressing them, it's coming out in these conflicts in your life that are causing like more tower moments where it's like more conflict and rivalry and arguing is going to result in more inevitable like destruction, or just that's just the like intuition I'm feeling. It's like, let's release that and let's step into a new perspective, a new approach where you can start something new for yourself and you don't have to look back. Like, move forward, process this, and move forward into the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is all about creativity, very attractive, connected to nature, passionate, caring, loves to give. Just the feeling I get. And I just want to get a few more. And even in the reading, I just feel like, sorry. Okay, sorry. Even in this reading, it's like, I feel like it's just like hard to face or even become aware of the shadows. And that you need to just walk into it with compassion and an open mind. Yeah, it's like you're just like charging forward I'm looking at the Fool in this, and it's like, just take the leap. I know you've been through so much, and you feel wounded and tired, and like, is it ever going to end? And something grounding and comforting to you might be to get to your place of safety. Like, don't push yourself so much that the shadows overcome you. Like, don't take on all the shadows at once. And when it feels too much, get grounded. Go to a safe place. Share things with someone that you feel safe with, or write it in a journal, or paint it, or sing it, or use some sort of creative outlet that can allow you to start opening up to working through the shadows in a healthy way that's not going to like trigger you. Nostalgia. Having a fresh approach. Yeah. So that's that's the feeling and what I'm picking up from your reading. I hope this was helpful and not too like confusing. I did feel kind of like a scattered energy in this reading and overwhelm, but I really believe that if you just stick to the main things of this reading, which is just like taking two ingredients, mixing them together until you find the right combination, so that way you can move forward along in your path. So don't, it's like a recipe, like adjust the recipe to your liking. Maybe you can only put a little bit of shadow in this cup right now, or like start even thinking about that. And you need to pour more of like grounded energy from the other cup of things you feel comfortable and safe with. So that way you don't start facing shadows and run the other way because it's too much. And definitely, like, this is a general reading. So, use your discretion, use your best judgment. If this is something so deep where, like, it's not safe for you to, like, work on these shadows alone, like, don't be afraid to reach out for help, therapy, um find things that work for you. And anyways, I hope this reading was helpful. Let me know in the comments if this was, or any other words you would like to share. But anyways, don't forget to always be brave, and I'll see you guys for the next reading. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to today's reading, where we're going to be looking at personal shadows and how we can use that information to like move on to a different part of our lives. So we'll get started. So first here is the Hermit card. The Sword. I achieve with integrity. Boundaries, 26. Pleasure. Mask. Transformation. And these acronym cards: light, let it gently happen today. Okay, so for this group, I feel like the main theme is that a major decision or choice needs to be made. And in order to make that important choice or change in your path, you will need to um, like take a moment or take as much time as it needs really to look within yourself so that enlightenment can happen internally for this, and also for the shadow to transform to light, the darkness which transforms. You know, you go into the darkness and you learn about it and you gain wisdom, and then you experience some sort of awakening, enlightenment, realizations, that type of thing. And I also feel like when you do go into yourself to, you know, look at yourself through the lens of like a mirror, or face different things deep within our consciousness in order to come come to realizations. And in order to do this, I achieve with integrity. It's about like starting your transformation journey, um, to like have a better understanding of yourself and others, I feel like, with this card, and realizing that it is a process and it is going to take time and honesty. And that's the integrity, is being honest with yourself when you do your hermit introspection work. And that's what's going to bring this clarity. And swords, like in tarot, it's like about clarity, communication, and striking through like to the truth. So I feel like you need to go, or for this group, you need to go within your own darkness, and that's what's going to bring you the understanding you need. And you're going to need to be honest with yourself to do that. With boundaries, this could mean you might need to put up boundaries with yourself or with others, or both, depending on your situation. This is a general reading as well, but like putting up boundaries when you start to go within and analyze these different parts and start being honest with yourself and realizing things, being like, okay, that's not working, that's not healthy in my life, whether it be behavior from you or somebody else, then boundaries need to be put up in order to protect the integrity of the situation. And it could also mean like standing your ground, feeling like you know what, it is okay for me to like take the time that's necessary to have my hermit time to be introspective, which is like there's lots of different ways you can do that. Journaling, tarot could be one way if that works for you. Counseling sometimes, or it could be art. There's like no right way to do it as long as you're being honest with yourself and not trying to rush any process. That's another theme. It's like, don't try to rush through this. This is something that just needs to happen. The introspection. And during this time of darkness or going within, it's like, don't forget to also stop and smell the roses. Notice your environment. Use mindfulness exercises. Like, even though this card, this like deer is in the dark, there's so much beauty and light that still comes from the moon and the stars and the colors of nature. And I'm seeing that part of your transformation, because the hermit helps us transform in a way that we come to new realizations about our lives so we can move on to a different era or chapter. So with transformation, I feel like it's saying don't be afraid to let go of the versions of yourself that you feel comfortable in. Try to expand and embody different versions of yourself. And it's like the mask, it's like almost the same meaning. It's like try out different avenues, try out different approaches, try out different parts of yourself in different situations, and don't judge. Release the judgment of the unknown is what I'm getting from like the mask. And also like, and also to let the mask down. And with light, let it gently happen today. I feel like this is kind of like, again, don't force it, don't try to swim against the current. And it kind of fits in with this pleasure card of like smelling, stopping to smell the roses. Like you can still be working through all this heavy shadow stuff and like getting honest with yourself, and you can still be gentle with yourself in that process. So if that feels like it fits to your situation, then we will move on to the tarot. And if not, then this may not be a reading for you, and you can try a different reading or a different video or a different reader. But we'll get started with the tarot. For group 3, what are their shadows, or how do they start to get honest with themselves? Okay, 8 of Pentacles. Oh, these ones are just like flying out. Let me try to give it another shuffle. For group 3, how can they get honest with themselves to start working through some of their shadows, and to not be afraid to like go within their own darknesses or things that they might be afraid to face or process? For group 3, How can group 3 get honest with themselves and others to work through their shadows? Group 3. How can they get honest with themselves? Wow. Can they get honest with themselves, work through their shadows with integrity, boundaries, and allowing for the process? Okay. Make sure you could see these. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles, Strength, also number 8. The Fool, the Magician, the Knight of Swords. So I feel like in order for you to be able to get honest with yourself, or just like feel like you're in the right place to like go inside to process, is it's gonna be hard work. Like Eight of Pentacles, it's nothing to be afraid of, but the reason why it's nothing to be afraid of is because it's a process. Because with the Eight of Pentacles, it represents a person who has taken the time or is taking the time to perfect their craft. They're hardworking and they are trusting the process. They're not finished with their project, or not finished with their project yet, but they're still just moving along and they're staying in the present in order to focus on the tasks at hand, which in this case is working through shadows or things that might be holding you back. With Strength, it's like these are, I don't know, it's like the imagery is similar, and then both number 8. But with Strength, I feel like it's saying learn how to, like, yes, there's the obvious meaning of just be strong, but it's also about like, it's really about like learning how to tame yourself, to tame your inner lion. So Leo energy, like maybe part, for some of you, part of your shadow work has to do with the integrity of your communication. So maybe it's about like learning when to take a step back and learning when, oh, maybe I'm falling back into this shadow pattern. So how can I like learn how to tame my own reactions or my own because there's consequences sometimes to not taming that type of energy and learning how to control it. With the Fool, that's really about like starting from scratch, taking a leap of faith. I think pile 2 or group 2 also got that card, as well as the Knight of Swords, or group 1. But yeah, it's like starting out on a blank canvas and starting from scratch and not looking back at what you weren't able to process before. So it's like like there's respect in like sometimes being like, okay, I need to start over. I need to change my outlook and not attach it to past experiences. And with the magician, it's like bringing all of the elements together to create or manifest what you need to. And with the Knight of Swords, it's just like rushing in fast, impulsively. So maybe for this reading, it's like learning how to tame this impulsive, um, maybe like worst case scenario, like more aggressive energy. Yeah, it's just like starting fresh, um, trusting the process, learning how what activates you so you can learn how to tame it. Let's see what else. For group 3. Okay, so what else for group 3 on how to enter their hermit era, or maybe not era, but to look within. The Emperor. The Empress. Okay, so the Empress, the Emperor, the Five of Swords, and the Page of Cups. So with getting the Emperor and Empress, I'm seeing this as like a duality thing where it's like realize, and with the Magician here, like realize that you have all it takes to make this change happen, or to balance out whatever is not balanced, that needs um, needs to be examined, and that nothing has been taken away from you. And with the Page of Cups, it's like another fresh young energy where it's like, you know, you have it within you to be able to look down and have a fresh approach to life emotionally. and and I think part of what can help you get through this is um not feeling deceived by the idea that it's possible to have this like um well balanced sense of understanding of your shadows, and you're not deceiving yourself if you are stopping to smell the roses and keeping it light. Like you can still go through the darkness while taking breaks to laugh, have fun, and keep it light. And we'll get some final advice. For group 3, any advice for group 3 on how to, okay, let me just try to shuffle. I didn't feel that. For group 3, any advice for them going forward into their facing any shadows? The Hermit, the Ten of Cups, and the Page of Wands. Oh my gosh. This also happened, I think it was group 2, where they got like temperance and then temperance in this deck too. But yeah, it's like the best way to face your to face your inner darkness or your inner shadows is to go within, because you're not going to find it anywhere else. You're going to find it by being adventurous in your own mind and being curious about your own like triggers, things that make you anxious, whatever, that could help you identify what they are. And I feel like if you are able to be brave to step into this like hermit realm of examining yourself, then it is going to lead to this 10 of Cups where it's just like fulfillment, happiness, security, and like a feeling of feeling complete or content. So that's what I'm seeing for group 3. I hope this was helpful. Please comment below any suggestions for future readings. Like, subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Or comment. I'd love to hear just like if it did resonate, just to hear like how it resonated. And if you do subscribe, please also tap the bell button. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.